That's okay. That's okay. So yeah, no, I wanted to start by introducing myself. I've been with Treefera since March last year. So when I joined, it was a Series B funding announcement, and I came to essentially help scale the business. So what that entailed was building the talent acquisition function, introducing new ways of interviewing, doing a lot of training as well for hiring managers and just general interview panels, as well as doing employer branding, DE&I and talent attraction work as well. So yeah, it's been a fun time so far. Big challenge, fast-paced startup environment, lots of pivots as well. So there's like the normal chaos that you get for startup, but with the stability of everyone following the same mission, if anything. So yeah, that's a little bit about myself. It'd be good for you to paint the picture of your profile and give me a bit more context about how you got to where you got, and then I'll have some interview questions to help guide the conversation.
Okay, so the last 4 years I'm working in the UK company as a software developer, like full stack JavaScript developer. So I'm working on both front end and back end parts, and sometimes I'm working with database, AWS stuff. I have my own pet projects which I'm doing outside of the work. It's kind of my spending of my free time, and yeah, there I'm trying to do something to do the challenging and to learn something new for me, to be aware of new things which comes to the industry, because every single day we've got something new, especially with AI stuff and so on. I don't know, maybe that's all. Maybe you have another question.
Okay, no, that's good to start. And then I guess in terms of so what was the key thing about that made you want to take this call today in regards to the product, the company, the role?
So, you need more details.
Yes.
Okay, so there in company we have a lot of different projects. Yeah, we have a core project. This is the backend stuff, and this is it works with NestJS, yeah, and TypeScript, and it share. This is the point of truth. It shares the information to all our clients applications. I mean applications. So, and we got a lot of clients applications. Some for our managers. They do the management stuff, to control, to handle, to create all these things they need. And we've got a few applications for customers. All of them were written by the React. Yeah, this is our main platform, and with TypeScript. So some of the code is legacy one, yeah, because the company and projects are really old, and some of them brand new. So we created, so especially when we've got the request from the business, like we need to create, to implement, to create the new feature or new, application. We are using the latest things from React, from all front-end stuff. And we've got a few mobile applications which worked with Flutter and React Native. So as a developer, I'm just, we use the Scrum and Agile both together, and I'm just, we've got the meetings every morning. We discuss about what we've done, what we need to do, what the, issues where we are stuck or something. So after I'm switching to my daily job. So, and so most of the time we are maintaining our products, but maybe 30 or 40% this is to creating the new features. But most of the time we are supporting, we are maintaining, we are fixing bugs, we do all these things. What else?
That's fine. Okay, I'll go into questions. So yeah, before we get into like deeper questions, so like how much of what you build day to day is your own idea versus handed to you?
Sorry, could you explain it in another way?
So like in terms of like what you build day to day, how much of it do you like have influence on in terms of like what you're going to work on, or how much of it is just like so like do you generate your own tickets and features, or are you handed all your work specifically?
We have small thing, and I really like it. So sometimes when you're working with your piece of job, you can see just try to cover what you've got in this ticket. But for example, you see the weakness here, for example, or lack of something there, and for example, the part of my job to find it, to make the documentation of potential weakness, and to create, or maybe it's not weakness, it could be the place where we can improve something. For example, I see, okay, this execution is it takes too many time, and I clearly understand, okay, here I can implement something else, and I just write down it and create the ticket. We call it like tech debt ticket. And in next session, we just discuss about it, and we decided, okay, these things urgent or important or whatever. And we decided to move it to the sprint or stay and wait for, some other time.
Okay, good. That makes sense. All right, I'm going to tell you a bit about Treefera. And then we'll go from there. So Treefera, the way I describe it, I won't describe it as technical as some of the other people in the company, but I'll give you my best shout, So Treefera, the way I describe it, so we are building a trusted nature data platform. It helps organizations see what's happening in the real world, in the natural world, I should say, and make better decisions about it. So we're turning messy, large-scale environmental data into clear signals and forecasts so that teams can essentially understand risk and change over time, rather than just viewing static maps. So moving away from just map layers, we create decision-grade insights that update as conditions change. We're also automating and analyzing with machine learning so that results can be produced consistently and quickly. It's not just a carbon-only view. We connect environmental signals to operational and financial risk as well. Why it matters is because our customers need reliable and scalable ways to monitor and forecast disruption across their nature-based assets. So that would be from portfolio level all the way up until, plot level to portfolio level. I said it the wrong way around. But yeah, we are cross-functional in regards to our setup. So we have the 3 different domains: market intelligence, risk intelligence, and environmental intelligence. However, not every team sits in the domain. Some teams sit across the domains. So like science and AI, the applications team, where this role sits in as well, product and design, they all sit across all the domains, in all fairness. And cross-functional teams will have like designers, products, and scientists as well in there as well. So, and engineers and whatnot. So you get to work with lots of different professionals. Now, where this role actually brings the most leverage and what you'd actually be working on. So you'll be building the customer-facing web app. So this is our React 18 on the front end, NestJS on the back end in a TypeScript monorepo. The application itself is a map-based experience. So our customers, they can manage their locations, so their farms, their plots, and they can organize them into portfolios, run analyses, and explore the results. So the key product areas that you may work on would include the launchpad, locations as well, uploads and submissions, the analysis catalog, and the dashboard itself. We're going for a major UX platform shift. So we're trying to move away from single location workflows to a scalable self-serve experience. So that could mean bulk location uploads with smarter naming and tagging, and a guided launchpad for launching analysis within the application itself. We also, I guess, you'll also be connecting the UI to the backend systems. So we're intentionally thin on heavy computation when it comes to our front end, the web application, because it's used to orchestrate and present outputs from the platform services. So yeah, that gives you an idea of the type of work you'll be doing. You're building a high impact product surface that customers will be using. And you'll be working on some big product defining experiences along the roadmap as well. Do you have any thoughts or questions before I go back into my questions?
I have thoughts. So yeah, actually, it's really interesting, especially with working with GIA. Yeah, I mean with maps. So I have some experience working with this. Yeah, and I think it's pretty interesting for me. If I return back to this domain, you know.
I see. Okay, that's cool.
Oh, actually, the question you said this map stuff. What? I suppose you are using the API of something. Yeah, maybe Google, maybe something else. What kind of things you are using for it?
For the maps?
Yeah.
In terms of where we get the data from? Oh, I'm not even too sure. Maybe that's a question for other members of the team.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, okay.
Okay. So tell me about a time you took a feature from an idea through to shipping it live, and you were the person responsible for the whole process. Do you have a
Yeah, I have a few cases of similar thing. Sometimes you could be really happy to start feature from scratch, yeah, and you have that permission to choose the what you select to what technology you select to implement all these things. And yeah, a few times I started feature from scratch. It means I choose the what technology it will be, for example, which React version, which packages I need to use, how it should be implemented, and which so we are using the AWS infrastructure and how it should be implemented there and how it should be rolled out there. So and when I do this selection, I always try to do some small research to understand maybe some because for example, we've got a few big issue with npm modules recently. Maybe you heard about that when they got some bad code inside. And yeah, I'm trying to do the small research before it and decided which things the best option for it. And yeah, but after that I'm always do the small like demo of architecture for the team, and all together we are trying to make this discussion to understand if this is kind of perfect thing or something. And yeah, after that I just start implementing and do it fully from scratch. It doesn't matter backend, front end, or both together. It doesn't matter because I can do all these things.
Nice. Okay, that makes sense. And like, how did the work reach you? So who decided that work was worth doing? Was it you?
So we had the team lead, yeah, and kind of the last word comes from him. But if all things which you provided seems really really good or okay or something, everyone just it's kind of, it's not voting, it's not election or something, but yeah, everyone says okay, this is good, maybe here we've got some weakness or something, could you explain it? And if everyone decided okay, that's amazing thing, and if every teammate understand how they will do in future, how they will work in future with this application because for example, okay, I'm really good, for example, in something, I don't know, or for example in Angular, yeah, but maybe all other teammates never heard, never use it, and I can't take this technology to our team because they will spend a lot of time to understand how to work with this, and I'm trying to select the technology which fits perfectly for whole teammates,
Okay, nice. And like, what areas did you like make cuts just to be able to ship it?
Sorry?
Did you make any cuts just to ship it on time or anything like that?
Yeah, I'm trying. Yeah, sure thing.
Cool.
Because every time I'm thinking about the team as well, because maybe it's my addiction, just I'm every day I'm trying to learn something new and to trying to implement it, but maybe they don't, and if I bring to the team something new, it could, break something, or they spend a lot of business time, and it will be not really good for business, I suppose.
Got it. Okay. And then tell me about a time you found a bug yourself rather than one that was assigned to you. What were you doing when you noticed it?
So there are a lot of ways how to solve it. First of all, I'm trying to understand what the bug exactly is, because sometimes I have a few just recent cases when the bug pretty close to the feature which I've done, but it doesn't really it potentially maybe in completely different place or something, and it was just noticed because of the touching something pretty close. And I'm just trying to understand what is it, just to make sure that I understand clearly what the issue is and what the impact of this issue. And just after that, maybe if I've got this wrong, I'm going to the QA engineer and just ask them about, could you maybe explain it more, clearly, or just show this bug case, because sometimes I've got the lack of description or something. Maybe sometime I'm asking about the video recording, because it's more clear, because sometimes when they describe the issue or bug, they just say kinda it doesn't work, but you need more detail of how and when and why and so on. The conditions, a lot of conditions, and I always I'm not saying I'm happy, but I'm happy to take it and to improve the application, because if we got the issue, we have to polish it, we have to remove it, and to ship really perfect application to our customers.
Okay, that's fine. Think of me as if like I was someone who is new to development for this next part, because I'm going to ask some technical questions, and I just want to see how you can communicate to non-technical stakeholders. Yeah.
Okay.
So, in your own words, what does TypeScript give you that plain JavaScript doesn't?
Oh, it's interesting. So, you and you, yeah. So the TypeScript, it brings both like advantages and disadvantages. The advantages, this is the typing. So the typing. But so what does it mean? It means every time you can set the type of the, for example, variable or parameters or props or what function returns, describe the interface, describe the class, whatever. And you could make the static guard, which works before your code will be run. It means before it executed your code which you write, it will be checked by the TypeScript validation and prevent the potential issues. But it brings as well the disadvantages, the complexity. It means you have to think about it every time. You need to write more code. And sometimes developers do the tricks, kinda they trying to make their life easier and put the, some extended things like they just use the type of any, or just put the comment code which allows you to avoid of using the types, strict types, I mean. So yeah, this is the TypeScript.
Nice. Okay, cool. And have you, if you look at your CV and the companies you've worked at, like, would you say there's any place where you introduced TypeScript?
Sorry?
Is there any like situation or place or workplace where you were the one that introduced TypeScript to them?
Didn't get you, sorry, but
Like, have you ever gone to a place like where they're using a different technology and then you've gone and introduced TypeScript and said it's better than using JavaScript, for example? It's just yes or no. It's not like you'd have to think about a long answer.
so sorry. Yeah, English is not my
Yeah.
native language, and I suppose I was the first time part of the question, and I'm just trying to wondering what exactly you're asking. Sorry.
I just wanted to know if you've ever introduced TypeScript into any environment or any workplace.
So yeah, sure, I'm using the TypeScript. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
This question.
How would you describe what a React component is?
What is the React component? Component, sorry, man. So it depends. It depends because, for example, there is there is the legacy React. I suppose it's till the 16 or 17 version. I'm not sure, but the old React was using the class components, and in general, the React component, this is just JavaScript function, which takes some parameters, which calls here like props, and return back some. It returned back actually the something, but this is the kind of another function which which create the DOM, DOM, which looks like JSX, and this is the HTML-like view code, which helps you to write the pretty close to HTML things inside of the React component. And here, by this component, by this function, by this component, you can build the bricks for building whole application. And it means some of the component could be reusable, some of the component to reuse for somewhere else, for example, buttons, I don't know, switch or whatever else, title, for example, yeah. But some of them could be more unique, yeah, maybe and contain another components like page or section or something, yeah. And some components could be smart. They could potentially has their own state. It means it knows something and remember it inside of this component and can do the calculation. But some of them could be like dumb and they don't have any state. It just shows something like the DOM or nothing and nothing else.
Okay, got you. Nice. And then obviously I know you've used React, TypeScript and whatnot. So like this next question is just telling me like ranking yourself in terms of how strong you are in each. So React, where would you say you are in terms of experience?
So I'm using React for last 6-ish years, I suppose. I'm not sure. I think, yeah, around 6 or 7 years. And I don't think I'm like Dan Abramov, you know, but maybe not really. So I think I'm really good at React. So TypeScript I'm using a bit less, but I'm using it wider because I'm using it for front end, for backend, and sometimes I'm using it just separate without anything, you know, just to do some other calculation, which doesn't matter which domain it is.
Got ya. And then Python?
I've got a small experience with Python, but when I was, at the university.
Okay, nice. And then NestJS?
Yeah, NestJS, this is our core backend stuff.
Nice. MongoDB and PostgreSQL?
So here we don't use Mongo. We are using another NoSQL database here. Provided by AWS. With Postgres, I'm working just on my own pet projects, but we've got another kind of SQL here. It's Microsoft SQL. It's a bit different, but has pretty the same syntaxes.
Nice. How frequent are releases where you are now, and how does that feel to you?
Mostly it's 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, yeah. But sometimes we got the shift because of something.
Yeah. How do you feel about that pace, the 2 weeks sprint cycle?
It's okay for this company because we get used to of this period, and yeah, that's okay for me. Because for example, explanation why it's okay for this strategy, because we have a few days of discussion, refinement, discussion of how to fill the next sprint, the issues of previous one, and so on. And it means if it will be just 1 week, we spend day and half, I suppose, of meetings, and it means for rest of the sprint will be just 3.5 or something days, and it will be pretty short sprint, and I think it will be not really good enough for the team and for release cycle.
How big are the releases typically?
What do you mean how big?
Like the things that you release, how big are the features? Like mid-size, large?
It depends how developers were participated in this sprint, because if you got just 1 or 2, it could be just really small amount, but the average number of developers is around 4, and it means every developer in average take 4 tickets. It means 4 times 4, 16, I suppose. This is the average one, because sometimes we've got a really big feature and it took whole sprint for one person, But sometimes it's pretty small, for example, bugs, and you can pick, 4 bugs per day, and the number will be much bigger.
I see. Okay. Just a few more questions before I let you ask yours, but tell me about a time you were asked to build something that you didn't think was the right thing to build. What were you asked for, and who asked you to do it?
Oh, that's a difficult question. So actually we've got I call it like a ledger, and yeah, if I see something I think it's wrong, so it depends what the wrong, is it a business process wrong? If so, I'm going to the manager, project manager, PM, project manager, and just trying to explain my concerns. For example, I see here the issue, and it potentially bring some other feature, and it will break, something else, and it will work. For example, it may be, financial counting, and I notice, okay, here you see we counting the VAT wrongly, or do something else, and I say, man, maybe we need to rethink, and maybe we need to understand, maybe we just write down the description of ticket wrongly, and maybe we missed something.
Yeah.
If you know, sometimes it potentially happens. Maybe manager can't understand it clearly. Sometimes it happens. We are humans, we are going to the stakeholder and just ask them to explain. Maybe we are wrongly understand, maybe I wrongly understand, and together we do the meeting, and we are trying to find solving this thing. And if we find it, we do refinement of the ticket and make the new, description, criteria, and so on. If this is the issue with technology, I'm just trying to understand, and I'm collecting all, proofs of my truth. Then I'm going to the, if this is the issue with developers, to the developers, and we discuss it there. We have special meeting for it. Or I'm going to the team lead, and I'm just trying to explain my concern there. And together we are deciding what to do next. This is the way.
Nice. Okay. And when you join a new company, the code base is unfamiliar to you. How do you work out what's going
on? Code bases. What do you mean code bases? It's always not known to me because this is new company.
Yeah. So obviously, how do you get up to speed with a new company's code base?
So first of all, there are a lot of different strategies. Now, I think I will change my strategy of trying to deeper inside of this. So previously I was trying to read features, to read, find some documentations, to find a README file, to find the confluence, to do a lot of things. But now I suppose if the company has really good setup at the AI stuff, like whatever, ChatGPT or Claude, and doesn't matter. I'm just, just if it's possible, because sometimes they got the security issues or something, and you can't use it. But if it's possible, I'm just connected the AI and just saying, could you summarize the things of the project to me? Because sometimes a project could be really, really huge, and you will spend, ages to understand what happens there. But AI could summarize it for you, and you will get it's short information, but you even understand what exactly it does. And it will save time. And after, you can split it to chunks, to small, parts, and we'll do the research just there, especially when you already got the ticket and you need to understand where exactly you need to go to do your job.
Okay, cool. And how
onboarding, this is pretty difficult process, and if a company has no clear information, this is really difficult. And I'm in our company, I'm trying to make a clear description of tech stuff. And I'm asking people to do, like, when you done some new feature, just spend extra 2 minutes to ask LLM or AI to describe it and put the information to the place where it should be. It will help you later, because after a few months you will definitely forget what you've done. And it will help new people to onboard and understand it. This is my, approach.
Nice. And where else does AI sit in terms of how you write code and how you decide, and how do you decide whether to trust what it gives you?
In our company, we are not really trusting or rely to AI stuff. So I'm using the AI just to analyze the code, so potential place of the issue, or to understand what we need to do because of if it has a lot of places, and just offer me the potential explanation. What is it? And another way how I'm using the AI, this is the code review, and just find potential weak places, because sometimes, you know, I'm just working in this file and I didn't notice that it affects somewhere else in, you know, in the middle of the nowhere, you know. And AI will do it more faster and just find, okay, man, there is another place in that file in that class which could be you know, affected, and it potentially break something there. Yeah, and this is the way how I'm using the AI, or to write down the documentation of new feature. Yeah, so this is because I'm not really happy of writing this stuff, you know. I'm developer, I'm not writer.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Okay, cool. Do you have any questions for me before I like tell you about what the interview process looks like and ask about notice period or anything?
Could you explain about describe about the team, what the team exactly is, and how they work? I mean, in the office, they are using, you know, some the devices. Yeah, for example, they can use own laptops, or they will provided by companies once, and so on.
So you get the company laptop. It's a MacBook Pro.
Oh yeah, okay.
We are hybrid, once a week in the office is the minimum, but most of the engineers go in like 2 or 3 days, maybe, just because when they're collaborating, but it's not a must. What else was there in terms of, there's a very big push on like agentic AI workflows. AI assisted work is something that we use as well.
What kind of AI they are using?
Claude Code.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. In our company, just a few person has the license, but I have my own license and I'm using it for my pet projects and so on.
So yeah, we've got that as well. So it's very much like we're an adopter of AI, but AI is not the authority. It's just there to assist. The apps team currently has 2 people. So this position is basically someone who's going to come in and be like the number 2 to the hiring manager, Chris. It sits across all domains, the applications team as well. What was the other question that you asked?
Sorry?
What was the other part of the question? Have I answered all parts, or is there a bit missing?
No, that's okay. That's okay.
Cool. And then in terms of like culture, there's monthly socials. The quarterly business review was last week. We have science sessions, like almost like lunch and learns, so people can understand more about what they're working on as well. Not just do your work, but understand what it's for and the science behind it as well. So we have initiatives like that. So yeah, there's quite a few things going on.
Cool.
Any other questions?
No, that's okay.
Cool. What's the earliest you could join? Like, what's your notice?
The notice is 1 week. Yeah, 1 week.
Oh, is it a contract?
Sorry?
Is it a contract role?
Yeah. Oh no, it's not contract. I mean, in our documents, there is the role with 1 week notice period.
Oh, okay. Nice. And then you did put, what did you put on it? What's the UK BRP? What's that?
Yeah, I have one.
What's that?
What do you mean?
BRP?
Yeah, BRP, this is the work permit. It's
Okay.
biometric resident permission.
Okay, yes, okay. I had no clue. Normally I've seen it written fully. I've never actually seen people put BRP.
Oh yeah, I see, man. Because I'm from Ukraine, yeah, you know, and yeah, I need to have permission to work here and to stay here as well.
Right.
But yeah, I've got.
How long is it valid for?
Next 2 years.
Okay, nice. Okay. And then in terms of your salary expectations, what would you be looking for?
This is an amazing question. So I'm trying to reach the rate kinda 65. I think it will be okay for me.
This role pays 82 to 92, so you won't get anything lower than 82.
Okay, cool. 82 will be okay for me.
Nice. Okay. So yeah, next steps would be hiring manager interview with Chris. And then following on from that is technical/team interview. So in terms of the next stages, 17th of August is the earliest that we can do the next stage because Chris is on holiday for 2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah. Okay, got you.
Yeah. So what I'm saying to candidates is I'll be letting you know as we move forward whether we're going forward or not. Some candidates I'll just choose myself and just put them forward by myself. Other candidates I'm going to wait until Chris returns and sit down with him to do that, and then we'll start to shortlist from there.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Sweet. But yeah, thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, thank you too, man.
I will hopefully speak to you again.
Okay, thank you, man.
All right.
See you. Have a good
Bye.
day.